Hey, what's up, everyone? It's so amazing to be with our community here, Structured Freedom for Entrepreneurs. I'm super stoked for today's live weekly show, which we have every single Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So go ahead and mark that on your calendars. Every single Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we go live right here in Structured Freedom from Entrepreneurs, the most amazing business Facebook group to be a part of. So go invite your peeps to come join us. Anyone who is building a service-based business online, go bring them here. What's up, Allison? What's up, Amber? So good to see you. I'm in a new location. Can you guys tell? I'm actually in North Carolina. I am in my childhood bedroom right now, which did not look like this. There's like a bed right there. I think I painted this wall like salmon one time and put like rose stencils along the outer borders up there at the top. And there's my undergrad degree diploma back there. Pretty little lamp here. Anyway, so that's where I'm at, heading to the beach tomorrow. So come on in. I'm super stoked. Like I said, we do the show every single Friday. It's about 30 to 40 minutes. This is really special to this group. So I'm not doing this exact presentation or sharing this exact information anywhere else. I do this exclusively, totally for free. It's an amazing business training every single Thursday right here at 5 o'clock. I know a lot of people watch the replay. So if you're catching the replay, just put it in your calendar. We're always here at 5 p.m. Eastern time, but you might want to catch it later, but schedule it in, because what's not scheduled, we do not pay attention to. And if you are catching the replay, let me know in the comments by putting the hashtag replay so I know that you stopped by. And I love that these are super interactive. So as I'm talking, I want you to share your takeaways, your ahas, your insights, things that have worked for you, things that haven't worked for you, and ask me your questions. I'm happy to take a couple of questions as much time as we have here together. So put those in the comments as well, and I will hopefully remember to pay attention and answer them. If this is your first time joining me, or if you're new to the group, or is this the first time you've watched one of these live videos, amazing, welcome, so excited to have you. My name is Megan Huber, and my husband and I actually work together. We own a company called Structured Freedom. I run the business coaching side or division of our business, and Shawn runs the high performance coaching side of our business. And then we also come together sometimes in our paid programs behind the scenes. But I specifically work with service-based women entrepreneurs who are growing and scaling their businesses online. And I help them do that with simplicity, with structure, with support, with high-level strategy, minus all the crazy, complicated, complex tools, technology, tricks, tactics, without the burnout, without the frustration, without the exhaustion. I'll tell you, I'll be really honest, one of the things that breaks my heart, because I see this so much in our industry, and I've been doing this for 9 years now. I've worked with thousands of women entrepreneurs building businesses online. And what's so heartbreaking is to see people literally work their tails off in their business and put in so many hours, but then, filling their programs and the amount of money that's coming into their bank account, it is not equal to the amount of time, effort, energy, and focus they are putting into their businesses. So I am here to completely change how we are actually operating our businesses, how we are building and growing our businesses, so that we're taking all that craziness out of it, because every single one of you here deserves, A, for your message to be heard, B, for you to be insanely successful, and C, to live the kind of life that you want to live and go transform people's lives. So that's what I'm here to help you do in the business sector, and help you do it in a more simple yet effective and efficient way. So today, we're going to dive into a topic that I really love talking about, because I hear so many questions and so many frustrations and just straight up like I'm over it kind of attitudes about this. And it's when you are launching your programs online. I want you to be able to do, A, I want you to be launching consistently, and B, I want you to get consistent results on a monthly basis in your business. And if you did not hear me talk last week, go check out last week's training call on Thursday, because I talked about how you can set your business up so that you can literally predict the amount of money that's coming into your business every single month. So this week we're still kind of in the same theme, but I want to talk to you about how to do that consistently, but minus all the complex back end tools, technology, tactics, and tricks, because that's the piece that's overwhelming people. It's too many different directions to go in. Energy is splintered. It costs a lot of money to do it that way, to launch your programs that way up front. Like you're spending a lot of money and a lot of time up front to build out all these pieces that you're like hoping and wishing and praying are going to work when you actually launch them. And the number of times I've seen people launch programs that have flopped. And look, I have not been immune to it in my 9 years. I talk about this stuff because I launched so many programs that were flops and didn't work. So the number of people who are out there launching programs, but then they are not yielding the results they want, it's way too many people, and we got to change that. So I have, for the last 2.5 years, I have been launching and filling programs actually very quietly. And I've done it without a website, which I still do not have 2.5 years later into this version of my business. I have done it without paid advertising. I've done it without umpteen landing pages, and I've even launched programs without a sales page. And I've done it without, email sequences that, you literally feel like you just become a professional writer because you have to write so many emails in the sequence. I've done it without a lot of that, hardly any. In fact, I've done it a little bit. And without this like complex, fancy, so confusing funnel that you've got going every which way based on like what behavior people are taking, I've done it without any of that in place. And I've done it over and over and over again the last 2.5 years. And I've said I've been doing this for 9 years. Before that, that's not how I was doing things. I was trying to do it all those other ways. I worked on a team also that was doing multiple millions of dollars a year with a lot of the complicated stuff going on. And I was a team member, and it's insanely taxing on the team. So there are other ways that you can do this. So if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Megan Huber. I'm super excited to be with you. Go ahead and say hello in the comments below, and you can see what our topic is here. Consistently fill your programs minus complex back-end tools, tech, tricks, and tactics. So I want to hear what your experience has been like launching your program. So go ahead and tell me in the comments. What's up, Emily? I cannot wait to talk to you in a few minutes. Emily is going to be a special guest in one of our programs, and I cannot wait to have her and introduce her to people. So I want to hear what your experiences have been launching your programs out into the world. Tell me the good, tell me the not so good, and type your questions into the comments that you came to this training with. And then as you hear me talk, I keep looking over here because I have my notes beside me. When questions come up, just ask me. So let's dive into the content today. I'm gonna like make sure I stay on pace here by checking out my notes, because I will go off on tangents and we'll be here for 2 hours. And my clients tell me I need to learn how to like say stuff way faster than I say it. So let's just stick with the program here. First, I want to dive into some of the things that over the last 9 years I have identified working with thousands of people, growing businesses online, plus myself. I have identified some places where people are either misfiring, or they're being very misguided by the programs that they're in, the coaches that they're working with, and very misguided by like a lot of these really big time, like huge marketers online that they're listening to, or they're watching what other people are doing in the online space, and they think that their launches have to be that complicated and have to have that many moving parts. And they don't. And because you think that it's complicated, complex, overwhelming, frustrating, and that you do have so many moving parts, that's one of the reasons why you're not launching enough. So let me dive into some of the things that I've seen where you might be misfiring, and just let me know in the comments if you have experienced this as well. So these are things that I really want you to be paying attention to and focusing on changing the paradigm and shifting the way in which you are approaching your program launches, so that you're making the money you want to make and you're filling your program so you get to do this amazing work in the world. So number one, which I've said 15 times in the last 11 minutes, is that your launches are not working for you because you have made them way too complicated and way too confusing. You are trying to go the route of having all the landing pages, all the different places people could go online, all the email sequences, the pre-recorded videos, the edited everything, and literally it's taking like 90 days just to plan the thing, just to get certain things in place so that you can actually launch. Way too many moving parts and pieces. That's number one. It's too confusing and it's way too overcomplicated. And just because something is fancy, complicated, confusing, or complex does not mean that it is more sophisticated. Can I get an amen to my people who agree with me? And you can disagree as well. But I actually think the more simple is the more sophisticated. The more simple, the easier it is to master. The more simple, the more genius it is. We think that we are like doing it right or doing it better or we're smarter or whatever. And I'm not saying you feel that way. I'm saying like oftentimes we as human beings think that, you know, ours is better. I'm smarter. I'm going to get better results because my shit's so confusing and complex over here and it's better than yours. And that is so far from the truth. And I know sometimes it looks that way when you look at the online marketing landscape, but it's actually not, because there are a few people out there like me who are launching in this very untraditional way, and it's working like in fascinating ways. And it has for me for the last 2.5 years, and it's also working for my clients. So number one, stop being so complicated and confusing and complex. Number two, I've already said complexity. There are way too many moving parts to your launch. So let's like disband all of that. Number three, I'm a huge stickler for this. Number three is that you are trying to automate way too soon. Trying to automate way too soon. I wrote a post about this yesterday, and in it I said, I can get so fired up and so hot to the point where steam is coming out of my ears when I hear entrepreneurs who are relatively new to the game. And I don't mean they're a newbie and they just started their business yesterday, but I mean like they've been at it for a few years, but they still don't have a successful track record. And they probably have not made 6 figures yet. So I don't care how long somebody's been in business. I want to see what results you've produced in your business. But when I hear people wanting to, I'm gonna record, I'm gonna do a webinar, I'm gonna do it live one time, and then I'm gonna set up this amazing funnel, I'm gonna automate everything, I'm gonna have it recorded, and I'm gonna make all this money passively off my stuff. That's trying to automate too soon. Now, I'm a fan of automation. I'm not saying I'm against automation. I'm not saying automation is wrong or bad. There is absolutely a time and a place for automation. However, if you do not have a proven track record of selling your programs, products, or services verbally or video like this, and you have not already mastered the marketing and the sales skills necessary to automate, you are going to get horrible results from that. Maybe 1% of the people in the industry are actually getting insanely amazing results from that. Then the flip side and the argument of that is, well, I could just go hire somebody who knows how to do that. Well, I have hired people who know how to do that. But unless my shit's clear and I can't tell them exactly what I want, and I can't communicate my ideal client, the false beliefs my ideal client has, their internal false beliefs, their external false beliefs, the false beliefs they have about the vehicle that I'm selling. If I haven't done my due diligence, if I haven't figured all that out, just because somebody knows how to set up an automated sequence does not mean it's actually going to sell. So get off this idea that your launches, everything needs to be automated. So that's one of the biggest downfalls I've seen. Number 4 is that you're trying, or not you necessarily, but I'm seeing way too many people think that they have to pre-record and pre-create and pre-write everything that's in the launch. So we all have heard of like the 3-part video series. This was taught, and it's actually in Product Launch Formula that Jeff Walker created. And I think he rolled that program out. It was the early 2000s. It was like 04, 06. And he teaches a record 3 videos. That's the model he teaches. And then video 4 is a video on the sales page. And look, I'm not saying that stuff doesn't work. But what I'm saying is, if you have not mastered how to market and sell that live with people through conversation, and you have not already made like a pretty decent like chunk of change to the tune of like 6 or multiple 6 figures, just talking to people like this, and I don't mean just belly to belly, face to face, one-on-one, I mean I'm talking to you. If I can't convert people listening to me on video like this live, what makes me think I'm going to be able to do a better job pre-recording all these videos? And I've seen way too many people literally spend 3 to 6 months spending $20,000 hiring team, having teleprompters, recording the videos, paying all this money, spending all this time, and then they put it out into the world and then they make $10,000. But they literally spent $20,000 to create it, or nobody buys it. So the problem with all the pre-recorded stuff and the edited stuff is, number one, it takes you so many hours. Number two, you probably need more than just yourself to pull that off, so you're paying team. And number three, you can't make any changes during your actual launch because you pre-recorded everything. So if everything's pre-recorded and it's not actually working in the middle of your launch, you're kind of like out of luck. So the way that I teach how to launch your programs, nothing is pre-recorded. Nothing is like pre-written, that you're actually going to be using your intuition and you're going to be adapting to the people, your audience and your community. It's actually going through the launch so that you can make real-time changes that are going to yield much better results. So that was number 4, why it's not working. Number 5, it's not working sometimes because there are way too many pre-launch expenses. So a lot of folks are just not launching properly because there are, I mean, all the ways I'm describing about why it's not working for the everyday service-based entrepreneur online is because it's insanely expensive to pull off a launch that has the recorded videos, that has all the pre-written stuff, that you got to hire a copywriter. You have to hire somebody to build out the sales page. You've got to hire somebody to build out the funnel. You've got to hire somebody to do your videos, to edit your videos. You've got to hire the graphic designer. You've got to hire somebody to do the social media. Like, it goes on and on and on and on about the expenses. And they're not just money and financial expenses, but time expenses. And so a lot of people just, I'll be honest, just they don't have the money necessary to pull that off. So they're just avoiding it altogether, or they're just not doing a great job putting it together. Number 6, I've already kind of said this as well, lack of marketing and sales mastery. So how do we pull off a really effective, efficient launch that is giving you amazing results? There are 2 things all of us as service-based entrepreneurs have to master, and that's marketing and sales. And if you're anything like me, I did not have a marketing and sales background. I was a high school teacher before I started a business. So I had 0 marketing and sales training and experience. Even though I have a degree in business, I was actually not taught marketing and sales because of the kind of business track I was on. So a lot of people believe, and I see this a lot with clients, I have felt this way in the past as well, you're amazing at what you do. You're amazing at the transformation and the change you create in the world. You're amazing at what you do with your clients when you work with them. However, if you are unable to properly, effectively, efficiently position yourself, position your offers, really establish your authority in your field, if you do not know how, if you don't know anything about sales psychology or the psychology behind marketing, if you have not mastered marketing and sales, it does not matter that I show up here and I don't sell on these Thursday shows, so I'm not going to pitch anything at the end of this. I do that in other ways, which you'll see in a few weeks. I don't pitch all the time at the end of these Facebook Lives. But if I thought that just showing up inside this Facebook group, asking you guys some questions, posting my valuable tips, telling some stories about myself, showing up every week to this Facebook Live, if I think that people should just be buying from me when I put up a buy my stuff post, then I am very, very misinformed and misguided. That doesn't actually work. So just because we can teach, just because we can give great value, just because we're showing up, does not equal I'm going to have paying customers and clients. You have to master marketing and sales. And the process that I teach with how to launch, we're going to hear in a second, you are totally going to master marketing and sales. Number 7, why are your launches not working? Why are they overwhelming? Number 7 is you're just simply not launching consistently enough. So again, it's also not enough to launch your program once every 9 months, once every 6 months, once every 4 months. If the only time you're launching is like once every 8 or 9 months or once a year, a certain program, then you aren't actually learning. Your learning curve is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger because the marketplace is changing so much. So if you can get into a launch rhythm where you are launching way more consistently and frequently, you are going to insanely collapse the timeline for yourself. So that's number 7. And then the last one, number 8, I'm just checking my notes here. Number 8, the reason why the launches are not as effective is because you're launching too many different programs, and you're launching too many different programs, and you're trying to launch in too many different ways. So what I'm seeing people do is they'll have a program and they'll launch it in whatever way they decide to launch it, and they do not get the results that they want. None of them come close. And they're like, scrap that. Nobody liked my program. Nobody wanted it. I must have just been off the mark. And the way I launched it, it just doesn't work for me. So they go and pout for 4 months. They try to figure themselves out. They come back 4 months later. They put Band-Aids over their knees, and now they've healed their scabs and healed their wounds on their knees. And now they come back 4 months later, and they have another program, and they took another course on learning how to launch a different way. And they come back and they try to do it all again, and the same thing happens all over again. And now they're all skinned up again. And so they go hide for 4 more months, and they come out of hiding 4 months later. They have a third new program. They've taken another course, another way to launch, and now they try to go do that. And that isn't teaching you anything. You're not learning much at all, except that you really need to be launching the same program in the same way over and over and over and over. And I am not going to promise or guarantee anything, but you are giving yourself like a 10x chance of creating a multiple 6-figure business in 12 months or less if you will just stick to your guns and consistently launch the same thing in the same way over and over and over again, because you're going to tweak and adapt and change and improve and rinse and repeat over time. And that's where you're going to get the real marketing and sales and launching mastery. And I know what people are thinking, oh, well, like, it's so exhausting and it's so stressful and it's so time consuming, it's so confusing and complex to launch. I can't launch that often in a year. The way that I teach it, you absolutely can, because we eliminate all of that stuff. All right, so here's what I want you to do differently. I have got a few different things here. So number 1, and if somebody wants to write these down in the comments as I am sharing them, if you will do that, that would be so amazing so people could see it. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. Number 1 is to simplify. So you want to do the opposite of the complicated and the confusing and the complex. And you want to simplify your launches. You want to simplify your launches for yourself, so that 6 weeks from now, you could be launching your program or your business or a brand new program. You could get to that in 6 weeks and have a very financially successful launch. So simplify it for yourself so you don't have all those moving parts. And number 2, simplify it for your audience, right? Like, your audience doesn't want to feel like they're going through the labyrinth. Your audience wants to connect with you just like you guys are connecting with me right now. Like, how cool would it be for you to launch like this? Every day, show up live for 5 days, promote it for 3 weeks, show up for 5 days, sell for a few days, but literally like right here with your people, answering their questions, teaching them, moving them into your program for those who are ready to say yes. So awesome. Like, 1 landing page, 1 sales page, like maybe 5 emails, a camera, you and your notes and your audience inside your Facebook group. It really doesn't need to be more complex or confusing than that. So number 1 is simplify. Number 2 is start hosting conversion events more often and host them live. So this is what takes out all the techie back-end tools, complex, all the craziness, is have conversion events. So this is one of the things that I'm seeing people when they're launching is they're not launching through an event. They're sending out emails and they're posting about it and they're doing Facebook Lives about it and they're doing whatever, but there's no like one place where they're driving leads to all connect and get together in one location. So now we're all here together. There's like no event where they're bringing people in so that then they can show up and engage and teach and connect and ask and answer questions to move people into the program. So it's just like the shoddy stuff that like it kind of just doesn't all fit together, and so people aren't really sure like what's going on. So host conversion events. So there's like 2 parts to number 2. Host conversion events to do your launches, to fill your programs, but also do them live. So what I'm saying here is, rather than spending 3 to 6 months having all this pre-recorded stuff that you can't even change and you don't even know if it's going to work or not, you have no way to adapt, You can't tap into your intuition at all because it's all pre-recorded, and you've got like 52 emails that are going to go out to try to sell your stuff. Actually do it live with your people. There's so much more energy involved when it's live. Number 3, you want to launch more consistently. So I already shared this. Like, one of the reasons why people aren't being effective in their launches because there's so many months in between when they're launching programs. So if you have a 12-month period of time, and you can literally go look at your calendar right now, if you were going to launch every other month, that is you launching 6 times. You could literally launch the same program every other month 6 times. So launch more free. You could launch it every month if you wanted to. But just imagine if you gave yourself 6, 7, 8 opportunities in a year to launch the same program and get really, really good at launching it the same way in a conversion event live, kind of like we are right now, versus if you only gave yourself 1 opportunity or 2 opportunities an entire 12-month period. Which one do you think is going to yield better results for you? Which one do you think is going to allow you to master your marketing and your ability to convert people more? Which one do you think is going to give your audience and your community more opportunities to see and hear you and get to know you, like you, and trust you? And when they're ready to say yes, they will say yes. The one where you're only launching 1 or 2 times a year, or the one where you're launching 6 to 8 times a year? Same program in the same way. I'm going to vote for the second one. That one's going to yield much better results. You just have to be willing to do it. Number 4 is be in reality about your numbers so that you are promoting your conversion event enough so that you get the number of people in your conversion event. Like, you need people to register for the free thing that you're delivering value and content through that you are selling on the back end of. So the thing that I'm noticing happening with a lot of folks is they have ginormous goals for their programs. I want to have 50 people in my program. I want to make $150,000 or whatever. And then I'll say, okay, well, what's your goal for the number of people that you actually want to register for your conversion event where you're going to be making this offer? And they'll say, I want 100 people to sign up. And I'm like, okay, so you are then putting this pressure on yourself that you got to convert 50% of the people who are likely strangers, 100 people, and you want 50 people in your paid program, and you're charging like thousands of dollars, and you think you're going to have a 50% conversion rate. That's not going to happen. And that's not going to happen anytime soon for most people, even people who are super experienced at this. The average conversion rate online in any market is 3%. The average conversion rate is 3%. Now, I'm not saying when you are getting people to get on a call with you to then have a sales conversation and move them into a paid program. I've got like an 80% conversion rate when I do that. But out of a group of 1,015 people in this Facebook group, only about 5 to 10% of these people are even going to get on a call with me so that I can have the 80% conversion. So even out of this Facebook group of 1,000 plus people, only 5% maybe are going to even buy from me. Maybe a little bit more if I do a good job. So you want to do your math first. Always run your numbers. Now, that conversion rate of 3% is going to go up. So this is the beauty of launching over and over and over again, but launching live like this, because the second time you launch, maybe you have an 8% conversion rate. The next time you launch, maybe it goes up to 12%. The next time you launch, maybe it jumps up to 20%. Maybe it even jumps up to 30% the 5th time you launch. Run your numbers first. Do not be out of reality about how humans operate, because this isn't a thing like, oh, you're just not good, you can't convert. Like, this is just how consumers operate. I certainly don't buy, I buy like maybe one, I don't buy a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm not somebody who's out there like buying everything that I see. Anytime a coach or an expert puts something in front of me, I'm not buying it just because they have it in front of me. I am insanely selective about what I buy and who I buy from. So run your numbers. If you were going to sell 3 to 5% of the people who register for your conversion event, how many sales are you going to make? So you need to know what your goal is. How many sales do I want to make? How many people do I desire to serve in my program? If 3% of them buy, how many people do I need to get to register for my launch event? just run the numbers, because that's going to guide you on what you need to do up front with the marketing so that enough people actually say yes. All right. That was a big one. Next one. And if you guys have questions, be putting them in and I'm going to answer them at the end here. I'll go back through and look. And if someone could be writing out these points that I'm making here as notes in the comment section of the Facebook Live, that would be so appreciated. The next one, number 5, improve your marketing and sales skills over time. Study your own audience's habits and psychology. So the more you will engage with your community and engage with your audience, even if it is really small, you're going to learn so much about what they dislike, what they like, what they don't want, and what they want. Also, the more often you are launching, I want you to change your mindset around launching. And I want you to be certain that you are absolutely going to hit all of your goals and you are going to blow your own dreams out of the water. I want you to be certain that as long as you keep showing up and as long as you don't give up, all of that is going to be a yes for you. We just don't know when it's going to be a yes for you. That's why we need you to keep showing up, because we know that it's inevitable, that everything you desire is there. It's already there. It's there for the taking. So I want you to have certainty with that, especially when it comes to your launches. But there's a difference between certainty and expectancy. And expectancy is when we have an emotional attachment to the outcome and we want this instant gratification and we judge ourselves and we beat ourselves up when we don't hit our goal. And that's when we go crawl in a hole and hibernate for 4 months and then we come back out. So I want you to also look at your launches from almost like if you were a mad scientist or you were a researcher or you were an investigator, you were like a private eye. Look at everything that is occurring during your launch, before, during, and after, in terms of the response you're getting from audience as data and information. Because, you know, yeah, people buy emotionally, but launching in business isn't necessarily, it's not this high emotional thing. Like there is math involved, there is data involved, there are stats involved, there is math involved. I really intertwine both of those worlds together. So you want to give yourself the opportunity to study the habits and the patterns and the psychology of your audience and how they're interacting with your marketing, with your conversion events, and with what's going on when you are actually pitching and offering and inviting and selling to them. You got to study that, because if you're not paying attention to that and adapting and adjusting based on the feedback you're getting, even if the feedback is crickets is great. That's great feedback, because you know there are some things that need to be tweaked, and sometimes it's like one word it needs to be tweaked. It can be really, really simple, but start documenting and collecting that. But by you launching more often in this way that's eliminating all this craziness, and you're like showing up like this in these conversion events, you're going to learn so much so fast, and you're going to be able to tweak your positioning, your languaging, your timing, the way in which you are presenting things to people, the way you're inviting them, the words you're using, like everything changes so quickly. And so by the time you launch like your 4th or 5th time, you might actually be able to have a 6-figure launch. It can happen a lot faster than you think. Number 6, these are our last 2. I've kind of already said this, so I know this sounds a little bit repetitive, but that's a good thing. Drastically reduce trying to sell via recorded and edited videos, via emails, via funnels, because number 1, that does a couple of things. Number 1, you don't have any upfront cost. That's one of the things I've been able to do really, really well in my business is profit. I profit about 80% of what I do in revenue, maybe a little bit more. It kind of just depends on the month and the timing, but I profit about 80%. The traditional way of launching, most people who we hear about who are making 7 figures or like high 6 figures in their launches, they're profiting well below 50% of what they're actually doing in revenue, because they're paying so much team, they're paying copywriters, they're paying people to build the funnels, they're paying marketing agencies, they're paying out affiliates. There's all this, there's a lot of money going out. And to pull off one of those kinds of launches that's a very traditional style, there are actually a lot of upfront costs that occur. So if you will eliminate all the complex pre-recorded everything, pre-written everything, you are going to profit so much more in your launch, right? And I'm not saying do it all by yourself either. You might in the beginning do more by yourself, of course, but then you want to obviously make enough money so that you can be hiring teams, so that you can do some paid advertising. But there's a way to do this where there's almost no upfront cost at all. I've done it 9 times in the last 2 years, or 10. I know it's super possible. Also, my clients do it. The other thing is that even if you hire copywriters, it is 10 times, and anybody in this industry will tell you this if they're being honest with you, it is 10 times harder to sell anyone into your programs, your products, your offers, your services through writing than it is through talking. That's why one of the best ways to grow a business is to speak. Whether it's on video, it used to always just be on stages or go speak to groups, organizations, be on the speaker circuit, and that works too, or host your own events. The conversion is like, you can convert 40 to 50% of a room if you're on stage in front of them because of the connection that it's creating and the human, you're right there with those people versus trying to convert someone through an email. Even if you have 20 emails in a row to try to sell people or posts or anything like that, it's 10 times harder. And writing in a way that converts a stranger into someone who now gets to know you, to now they're going to fork over their hard-earned money to you. It is a skill that copywriters craft over years and years and years. Like they put in their 10,000 hours of work. So to think that any of us who are totally not skilled when we come into this at those things, it's just so much easier, you guys, to convert people into your programs and have kick butt launches if you will do more live and stop thinking that you've got to go write 60 emails and relying on emails to sell your stuff. Rely on yourself. Rely on building connection and relationship with real people. Rely on the confidence you have and the belief that you have about yourself and about the amazing work that you are offering people in your paid programs. Rely on your conviction. Rely on your live energy connecting with people. That is going to yield much better results. And then my last one is the other thing here you get to do is you get to test out. So you know how I've said you want to launch more often, more consistently, and more frequently, really the same program over and over and over again until you master it. And you also really want to be launching in the same way. So for example, I might launch I might do like a 5-day workshop, sign up for my 5-day free workshop. I'm going to teach you yada, yada, and yada. And then I have a few more days of actually showing up live where that's where I'm going to be making my offer and doing the inviting into my program. Well, there's lots of different conversion events that you can be testing out to see what's going to work really well for you. So that's the other thing that I want you to really be on board around. I don't want you to change how you're launching every single time, especially in the beginning. I want you to do it the same way for like 4 or 5 times before you start saying like, oh, I'm not going to do a 5-day workshop anymore. I'm going to go do like a webinar, or okay, I'm going to go do this. Because that's the other thing that isn't working well for people is they're changing up how they are launching their stuff and the tactics they're using way too often, and they don't have a really good strategy in place. And one of the things you're going to get to do is test out some different things, but we want you to get really good at doing it one way in the beginning and get some really amazing results from it first. Like have a $50,000 launch before you go try to launch in a different way. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Who here would love to have a $25,000 launch in the next 6 months? A $50,000 launch in the next 6 months? A 6-figure launch in the next 6 months without all this craziness, profiting 80%, having amazing clients, doing it without burning out, being exhausted, and having all this complexity and confusion behind the scenes. If you would love that, like tell me in the comments below, like that would be amazing. You can absolutely do that. Literally if you do nothing except listen to what I just shared here and you've got some marketing and sales skills under your belt, and if you didn't need any help on that at all, which I don't think there are very many people who don't need help with that, like you could go like crush it in the next 6 months. I'm like serious. So I'm going to stop there. I would love to hear in the comments below. If you have questions, let me know. I want to hear what your biggest takeaway was. Did you have an aha? Did you have some sort of clarity? Can you see like how you've done it in the past, like why it isn't working and like what you're excited to try out next? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to scroll through here and read some of what is in, and I will answer some questions if there are any. What's up, Chandra? What's up, Mary? What's up, Kimberly, if you're still here? What's up, Kylie? Hey, Emily. Hey, Allison. Hey, Lonnie. I haven't launched yet, but this whole concept is so appealing to me. Honestly, I've been dreading the whole need all the things. Oh my gosh, need all the things stigma. I know. No, the way I do it, you don't need all the things. It's so much fun. And I just love, like, I think one of my favorite things to help people realize is like the overwhelm. The overwhelm is also so stifling. It will cause people to completely procrastinate. It causes people to go into shutdown mode. So if you're overwhelmed with all the things you think you need to do and learn, it will shut you down and you won't even do anything. I mean, that happens to all of us with something in our lives. If you get shut down by overwhelm, information, whatever, then you're not doing anything. Then you're not putting anything out there. And A, you're not sharing your voice, so you feel super stifled with that. B, nobody's hearing your message. C, you're not giving yourself the chance to transform lives and like live your purpose every day. D, amazing human beings aren't being positively impacted by you, and they're not moving forward because they're not getting to experience you. And then you're over here like financially, possibly like floundering around, right? Beating yourself up. We don't want that. We want to change the game on that really, really fast. What's up, Elizabeth? Hey, you're on live. I guess the traffic was good. I love the amens from Lonnie. Hey, Katura. Hey, Nicola. Hey, Chandra. Good to see you. Hey, Robin. Hey, Diana. Absolutely, yes. I'm ready to launch more frequently. Awesome, Emily. Oh my gosh. We were just talking. I was talking to Emily. She's a good friend of mine. They're in Hawaii right now. And we were talking about like totally this industry really needs some very strong, empowered, just super confident leaders. So if you're here and you're listening to this and you have got big work to do in the world, it's time to step up and be like a serious player in your field and get yourself to the top. It's crowded at the bottom. People are looking for strong female leaders. Be one. Step up and be one, because people want that. People want a leader who's going to challenge them. They don't just want a bunch of freaking fluff. Like, show up and be who you really are meant to be in this world. Lonnie, thank you, Lonnie. I love your participation. My aha, I don't need to spend months creating a massive funnel for my course. This is so freeing. Oh my gosh, you do not. You do not need to spend months creating any kind of crazy funnel. You need a landing page because you need people to register. You need a thank you page. You need a welcome email. I would do a Facebook group, and you can do a live thing in your Facebook group. That's as much as I'll say. Emily, who is ready to lead? Heck yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I love having you guys here. I love doing this live show. I love planning for it. I love preparing for it. I love the level of engagement that is going on in the group when I'm asking questions. You guys are talking to each other. I want to know what else you want to be hearing. What topics do you want to hear? This week, obviously, I've been talking a lot about conversion. So I'm going to keep talking a lot about marketing, about simplifying things. I love talking about strategy. You guys see me talk a lot about strategy over tactic. We're going to talk a lot about how to convert your fans and your followers and your audience and your community into paying clients, because that's actually really the only place where you actually do your deep work. You cannot do your deepest work at the free level with people, because until people are committing with their money and their time with you, you actually don't know how deep you can take them. You don't know how far you can take them, because they have not given you permission. So even you guys here listening to me, this is not a paid program. This is a free group. I can only give you so much. I can only take you so far. I can only take you so deep, because you haven't given me permission to go to those deeper places, to go to those wider places, to teach you like every single thing that I know you could do launching in this different way, because you haven't given me permission to do that. And I don't know enough about you. And all of us here deserve to be very well compensated for our best work that we do in the world, our experience, our study, our all the things that we've invested in to be where we are, our track records. So you guys deserve to be compensated for what you're doing. And I want you to be highly compensated for what you do. So you've got to get this stuff out there. All right, cool. Chandra Connolly, no need for long funnel and can launch multiple times, but Try one way multiple times before changing. Amen, sister. Yes, that's exactly what you do. Like, to me, that is like, I mean, that makes me want to go have a glass of champagne. Like, seriously, I don't have to have a complicated funnel and I could launch over and over and over again. Heck yeah. Because just imagine if you let yourself launch 5 times in a row in like a 7 or 8 month period of time, the same program in the same way. And you knew, like, you have to have certainty that you're gonna have a 6-figure business or a multiple 6-figure, like you're gonna have the 6-figure launch. Like, it is inevitable as long as you keep going out there, because every time you go out there, you're collecting tons of data and information that allows you to adapt, to tweak, to change. You're using your intuition the entire time. You're making more money that you can then use to invest more in some paid advertising, in some team that can help you scale. To me, just knowing, like, why would you not do it? Why would you not do it? Why would any of us not do it if we knew that by the 5th time, like, if I knew, like, if any of us knew, if we just kept doing this, and if I knew like 2 years from now, you guys, you're going to be making like $5 million a year, I would be okay with having a couple of launches, doing it this new way I'm talking about, that maybe weren't like insanely out of the water. But if I knew that I kept doing it this way and I gave myself the chance that it was inevitable that I was going to make millions of dollars a year, why would I not do that? And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with starting scrappy in the beginning and improving it as you go, because it absolutely does work. What's up, Sarah? Good to see you. All right, I'm going to sign off for the night because I've got a call with Emily Somerset in Hawaii. So if you're listening to the replay, tell me your takeaways, ask me your questions. Also, let me know what else you want me to be talking about in the Facebook group. I want to know what your questions are. I want to know what content you want me to be producing for you here. And then we have some really cool things coming up. I'm going to be running a free 5-day workshop where I'm actually going to be teaching in detail my process for how to launch in this way that I've been talking about. So that's actually going to start on Monday, August the 19th. You're going to be able to start registering for that at the end of next week. So I'm going to start promotion for that for you guys to register for free, get your workbook for it about 3 weeks before we do that live. So you're actually going to witness what this is like. Plus, I'm going to teach you all the things. So be on the lookout for that. But as always, amazing to be with you guys on this Thursday. Have a fab weekend, and I will see you right here in the Facebook group every day. All right. Bye, guys.